Hello and welcome to another episode of Frugal Finance. Today we're going to have a quick look at some of the properties that I have purchased and some of the deals that I've done, and show how by doing that has allowed me to continue effectively the BRRR method of buy, refurbish, refinance, rent, repeat and so on that we've touched on so many other videos. So without further ado, please do smash the like button below. Give the video a comment. Please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We post pretty much as often as possibly can on a daily basis. Everything from the property market to the stock market to general advice and other things to do with leasehold property and so on. So there's loads in the playlist and there's a bit of a back catalogue of other things. So please do not forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed for further information, and please do feel free to comment, and there's lots of links in the descriptions below. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. So what we're going to look at here is essentially the journey that I've gone on, and that so someone at the start of their journey, how they can kind of get to grips at the beginning and then possibly utilize that to go on to expand their portfolio. So it's not a brag of look what I've got, because there are plenty of people with loads more and achieve different things, and I've obviously had different issues and things to battle on in my life and various other interests and things to deal with and adventures. But it's more about encouraging you and really cementing that ability to want to thrive. And you know, if you can see like a real live example of how this actually works, and that hopefully will keep you motivated to continue to do these things. So let's jump on in and have a look at some of the properties. So just quickly here, this is a flat that I bought, very first one. So basically what happened was I used investor funds to pay for the deposit. So I was quite lucky that the 25% deposit was funded, so I didn't really have to put any of my own money into it other than in the refurbishment. That essentially then allowed me to remortgage it and release some of that funds. So they then went on to purchase actually the home that I live in, and then I've remortgaged that in order to purchase some other things. But actually, the developer that I used to to borrow the money from, essentially buy a 25% share in the previous property, was so happy with the returns that it gave, they didn't want to take their money back out of the deal. So actually they did a further deal on this particular property, another 2-bed flat which is just around the corner. So at this stage they've got two 25% shares in the two properties, which is giving them a healthy return, and it's allowed me to get on with on the ladder, which then after a few years allowed me to buy this particular flat here by remortgaging the first property and releasing the equity, because I'd paid down some of the mortgage as well as the price of it increasing. Then later on I purchased a house in between the two properties, but this one that I've just zoomed in there, I used the profits of that house to purchase those. And these are quite nice two flats, to be honest, because they've got garages each and car parking spaces for both of them, and they're surrounded by this kind of pond feature. It's actually part of the same development the very first flat that I purchased was part of. So all in all, I've got 3 flats in this particular development, and they rent out and they give me quite a good return on investment. And obviously it's nice to have them in the same place. And then leading on from that, as I referred to before, this is the house that I purchased. It was in a bit of a state, but it wasn't fundamentally problematic. So having purchased this from the two owners who were actually in receipt of it from probate, they'd inherited it, they just wanted to get rid of it, and obviously as you can see it needed a bit of refurbishment, a bit of TLC, but was mortgageable. And we took this on at the start of the pandemic, so it was a bit problematic to begin with, but as you can see we put in new carpets, kitchens, tiles, everything, the lot. So the tenant's really happy now. They moved in part way, so that was quite fortunate because they actually put up with the hassle factor. Even this wall here, the kitchen was open plan, which isn't particularly good for fire eggs, so we've closed that in, as you can see here. So they're really happy with that now. So obviously, as you can see, I've been able to basically release some or all of the money from each one of these particular developments and refurbishments, so that I can go on to purchase the next one. Obviously, some of it is my own savings and some of it is the actual profit from these particular properties, whether that's actually the monthly income or profit from refurbishing them. So you can see it's a kind of knock-on effect, if you like. Yes, obviously the mortgages are not getting paid down and so on, and I've touched upon that in other videos, that obviously at some point you do need to stop just refinancing everything and completely going mad. And I think a golden rule is really you should only refinance once. In amongst all of that, obviously, is the house that I'm in now, this particular one that you can see here. So that was obviously a cheap repossession property back in 2011, and we have a reasonable amount of equity in this particular property. So that all in all, you can see how there's like a compounding effect here. And that house, the last one that we touched on in that brief little slideshow there, that particular one, I haven't released anything from that at all. In fact, actually, I've spent relatively little on it. New kitchen and painting the outside and some refurbishments in the garden. There'll probably be some things to do in it in the future, but essentially, you know, it's a relatively good buy in the rent versus expenditure to put out from it, and there was capital in it from day one because the seller was motivated. They just wanted to get rid of the property. So hopefully from that you can kind of see how I've gone about these things, and obviously it's quite slow. Some people will say, well, you know, I've bought 10 properties in half the time that you've bought all of those, but you know, I like to play it reasonably safe. I don't want to kind of risk everything, so to speak, but I do think it's like a compound effect, you know, that once you've done one and then you've got an idea, then you can go on to others, and then you're starting to use that capital to grow that. So I think that's hopefully gives you a kind of rough idea or a real life example of how you can do that. And obviously, you know, the younger you are, the more that's going to help. And it gives you an example of just a little bit of investor financing at the beginning has allowed me to continue to go on. And now that particular person, the deal I struck with them was actually pretty good from their point of view, and they've continued to actually leave that alone and not want those funds back because they wouldn't get the kind of returns that they're getting on it now, which to some degree is obviously a bit of a shame because I'd like to buy them out, but at the same point, I've been able to utilise those funds to go on to do other things, so it's win-win all ways round really. But obviously, you know, that is about finding that person at the beginning to help you get off on that foot ladder. Now, some people will be able to save up that kind of deposit and you won't need that. So obviously you can, you know, do your own maths on it and see what route is best for you. Me particularly, I had young kids and I wasn't in a position to save that up. I was at university at the time. A useful stepping stone just to get me started, really. So hopefully that has been a bit of an insight and really useful to everybody as to get you motivated for 2021. And obviously I think that in reality, you can make money in property in any market. You just have to gear your thing around whatever is going on. So if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. You'll get notifications of any videos that we post or pop up. And I do like the interactive comments below. So if you want to give me some love or say something down in the comment section, please do so. And don't forget to smash the like button and share this to anybody else who's possibly looking to you know, start their journey on property and isn't quite too sure how it's going to pan out, or can't see how that motivation or, you know, development will go on and how they will upscale the thing. So hopefully this gives you a good indication. I know there isn't loads of figures and maths all on this and the rest of it, because I do find, especially with the analytics, that people get a bit bored with the maths and the analytics and the rest of it and all the breakdowns and things, and I could sit with a whiteboard and give you and explain, but there are loads of videos out there that do that, and I just want to give you a real life, short, really easy to watch summary of actually how you can kind of go from your first property, whether it's investor finance or your own money, and really upscale that over a safe period of time and not go too mad. So with that said, please do like and subscribe. Apologies for all the washing and the rest in the background, but that is life at the moment. You have to work from home if you can do. With that said, I'll see you next time. Just a quick one before we go. Don't forget there's a link in the description below which will get you up to £100 worth of free shares with Trading 212. So just click on the link, deposit some money with them, and start your investing journey if that's kind of up your street. And what you'll get back in return is a free share, which could be valued up to the price of £100. Now, I know you probably won't get the £100, but you might get somewhere between £50 and 15 quid, and that is free money. There are also other links to various similar sites below, so please do feel free to check them out. And, and I wish you all the best on your investing journey.